Pre-order the Clownfish TV comic book right now on Indiegogo. Go to clownfishtvcomic.com. That's clownfishtvcomic.com. This is a fun collection of all new comic strips based on dumb stuff we've said on the show. Again, that's clownfishtvcomic.com. You're gonna have to hurry. We're only taking pre-orders for a limited time. Now we're gonna get back into the show. Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And the box office opening weekend predictions for The Little Mermaid don't look that great.
No.
I don't know if this movie is going to be an outright flop.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, these things can change and go up or down. We've seen it many times with other movies.
I'm just saying that I think the best days of Disney's live action remakes are behind it, just like Marvel. Just like Star Wars, and of course, releasing Peter Pan and Wendy and Pinocchio and all these other live action movies that landed with a thud, were critically drummed, doesn't help. And a lot of, there's been a lot of controversy about Little Mermaid, and of course, if you don't like the race swaps, you're a racist. But
well, Halle Bailey aside, because girl can't sing.
She can sing.
Halle Bailey aside, Flounder, Sebastian, and Scuttle look like shit.
Yes, there's a whole article, we're gonna talk about this, that Flounder is being memed now because it looks ridiculous to just have live action Ariel messing with a fish, just a fish.
Some things do not translate well to live action.
No, so we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about the projections and what this means, and give you some anecdotes too. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go to piratesandprincesses.net for objective Disney news. Geeky runs that site. Go to clownfishtv.com for objective pop culture news. We're gonna talk about this because I actually had a friend of ours, a viewer who lives in Japan, wrote me the other day and said that they went to the opening of Super Mario in Japan, and they played the trailer, the Japanese trailer for Disney's live action Little Mermaid, and he said the audience groaned and laughed. That the reception was
when they saw
not good.
Flounder?
Just in general, they just were like,
I understand that,
He said the reaction was just not good. And again, this is an overseas audience, which they need to make their $1 billion. Because remember when all these live action Disney movies made $1 billion easy at the box office? Yeah, I think those days are over.
Oh, they haven't been those days for a long time. I think Disney just in general is not, their stuff is not hitting the marks. The only things that are getting by occasionally are Marvel or, movies. Star Wars, they aren't putting movies out anymore,
Yeah, and look, they definitely milked it as long as they could. I think the general public, and I've said before, and God, we get people that get so angry at us, but I've said before, I think the general public, not even people that are involved in politics or the political discussion, the general public, I think, is over Disney. They put out too much subpar product in too short of a time. They've been bleeding people dry, and they just keep going back to the same wells again and again and again.
And then we have the whole thing with the Santas and the back and forth and back and forth. People are just like rolling their eyes at this point. They're like, of course,
I love this. Shout out to Disney for finally finding a way to make a version of Flounder more soulless than Funko.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's done some disturbing things for effects.
I know.
Oh my God.
I mean, people even people who are defending the choice of Ariel and everything else and like jumping out of Ariel's throat for not liking Ariel, you racist, whatever. When they saw these characters, a lot of them were like, oh.
I've noticed that the
media too.
Yeah, I've noticed that ever since the trailer dropped, and I think they were hiding the characters. Ever since the trailer dropped, there has been a lot less chatter about the racists and the misogynists and all that, because people are like, oh, this movie actually does look like shit. This might not work out.
This one I love. The girl on Crime Watchers podcast, joining Twitter in 2009, being on Twitter now. I feel that. I feel that one.
Oh my God. This is what's sad. This was a joke, and people were like, God, that's awful. That actually looks more like Flounder
it does, than Disney's. Was a joke. Oh no.
They changed the design of Flounder because everyone was... No, this was... I think somebody did this. I don't think that's actually what it looked like.
No.
But it actually looks more like Flounder. Oh my God. They should have just done that. There we go. An actual Flounder. Anyway, let's talk about the box office. This is coming from long range projections from Box Office Pro. And
tickets have gone on sale.
Yes.
It's not out till May 26th, so there's lots of time for that to change. I mean, I expect it to change up or down. I don't think it's going to stay there.
This is not going to be a must-see endgame level event by any stretch of the imagination. Now, that being said, I've said since the beginning, I don't know how this movie's going to do.
Yeah, we really don't.
Because there are some like dog shit movies that do really, really well. And I'm like, how did this movie make so much money? And this one, it might just be a case of parents are just like, yeah, hey, Little Mermaid, sure.
Well, I don't want to be called a bigot, so I got to take my kids.
No, they just won't go. They won't go and they won't speak of it. That's the thing. That's what I'm talking about with the public turning on Disney. They're not loudly announcing that they're turning on Disney, but we're seeing a drop-off in interest in Disney. We're seeing a drop-off in interest in people planning trips. We're seeing a drop-off in interest in their movies. People are just losing interest in Disney. Yep.
Etc. Yeah, it's funny. Speaking of the new Little Mermaid, they're already casting the Little Mermaid, and she's going to start appearing in the parks now as the new version of Little Mermaid, not the original. I think they're taking out the old one for the new one.
That's going to last about a week. You know, people are going to be like, where's there? Yeah, they'll do this to promote the movie, and then they'll just kind of forget about it. Because that's like every Disney live action movie. I've forgotten half of them exist. It's like, oh yeah, they had a live action this. Oh yeah, hey, they tried doing Cruella. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, well, they're not stopping though, because now we got Lilo and Stitch. There's Bambi. They announced other ones. I can't remember off the top of my head what else they announced, but they keep announcing them, and it's just like none of these make sense. Nobody wants this shit. Stop. Just stop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Moana.
Yeah, so this is coming from, before we get into the actual box office, this is coming from We Got This Covered that used to be pretty far left and blindly defensive of anything Disney, right? Now that The Little Mermaid has died at sea, we need to talk about the Stitch Stitch. So they're talking about the reaction to the characters and the projected box office. The Little Mermaid remake is about to swim to the surface, although by the looks of it, maybe it's more accurate to say it's floating to the surface upside down. And a tale as old as time, or at least about 10 years ago, Disney diehards were initially excited about this new take on the 1989 animated original before the trailers arrived and introduced us to terrifying new versions of all your underwater favorites.
Can I translate this?
Yes.
Audiences weren't too thrilled with the race bending, even though the media tried so hard to paint them in the bad light for being mad. And there was a lot of people who didn't like it who were not white. I want to point out a lot of people that were black were upset about it too, because they said there was a character in the cartoon that was a black mermaid. Why are we getting hand-me-downs? This is kind of insulting. You know, there are people that are mad, but of course, if you don't like it, you're all white, you're all men probably, and you're all straight most likely. But the media was all like down with throwing her under the bus until they saw Flounder, Sebastian, and Scuttle. And when we pointed out Sebastian, oh, that's not true. And then it was true.
They did. We had people come into the Disney stands that stalk us and channels like us came into our comments when we posted leaked images of Sebastian and said, "Nuh-uh, there's no way Disney would be that stupid."
Okay, yes.
And here we are.
So then when the media and the extreme shills saw the new Flounder, Sebastian, and Scuttle, they're like, wait, what? And now anytime now that they don't like it, that they don't like them, that everybody doesn't like it, but it's okay because not because of Ariel, it's because there's other characters. And that's what's so funny to me, because all the diehard suckasses were like, oh, it's the best thing ever, until they saw those three. And then they're like suddenly changing their tune. Oh, this movie's going to suck. And, you know, yes. I agree. I mean, I could get past, I honestly, the Halle Bailey thing, you know, I'm tired of gingers being erased, whatever. We're basically interchangeable anyway, apparently. But I didn't care. That didn't bother me so much. If they made her hair redder, I would have been happier. I'm like, make her hair red. I mean, redheads come in different colors. But when they did those three, I was like, oh, fuck, I can't get past that. I'm sorry. I can't. That's nightmare fuel. I cannot.
So they're going on to say that, yeah, there's bad publicity surrounding it. They're not mentioning the race thing.
Not now. If you wouldn't look, but they've mentioned it before.
But they're talking about Peter Pan and Wendy not doing well.
They're review bombing by the critics, you mean? Because a lot of the critics gave it bad reviews too. And I think some of the audiences are review bombing it, but they're review bombing it both ways.
They're saying that the box office projections are not good. It's entirely possible that the film will be the latest of the Mouse House's reimaginings to underperform on both the critical and financial fronts.
Are critics going to be allowed to say what they think for real, or are they going to be too worried about being canceled because they're racist now?
No, I don't think it matters. I'll tell you the truth. I said this actually in another video I did. I think the worst of this cancel culture stuff is over because
I hope so. I'm tired of it.
Most of it came from Twitter, and now Twitter bad because Elon Musk. So now they're not listening to Twitter because Twitter, you can't trust Twitter.
You know, I have to make a little side today. Today is the Met Gala, and it's so funny to me on Twitter because you have all the people on Twitter who are normally like, eat the rich. Oh my God, capitalism's bad. Republicans spend too much on events. Or, you know, Batman's a fascist and needs to be canceled because he's rich. Yeah. Oh my God, it's the Met Gala, guys. Oh, and I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, let's talk about this. Little Mermaid is tracking for a 70 to 90 million opening. I've heard it's going down. The adjustments are going down.
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be fair and say it's too early because they just started putting tickets on sale. Yeah. It doesn't come out till May 26th. And, you know, it might start out slow, but if it turns out to be good, that might pick up because people, I think, are too... the Flounder, Sebastian, Scuttle thing, I think, is a big part of it. But... people might be waiting to see how it goes or waiting to see how much of the story changes. We know the songs are changing and we know she's the one that seemingly drives the ship into Ursula and she doesn't need no man, even though all the scenes they show are the scenes from the animated movie. I think it's too early to tell.
So they're saying that, like, look, there's no way it's going to touch what Beauty and the Beast did, what The Lion King did. Beauty and the Beast did 174 million opening weekend. The Lion King hauled in 191 million. And those are, I mean, you talk about like, and even Aladdin did better. You talk about the big...
Aladdin did better. That's old.
You talk about the big three movies from the Disney Renaissance of the 80s, 90s, and it's Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Lion King. Mm-hmm. Those three movies. I mean, Aladdin's kind of maybe a fourth, but those three movies kind of put Disney back on the map. And so I think they were counting on The Little Mermaid to be an event on the same level as Beauty and the Beast and Lion King, and I forgot Lion King even existed.
I think it's a couple of reasons. I think one, it's not lack of promotion. They're shoving that shit down your throat. They even made sure the Academy Awards, they shoved it down your throat. I think it's because people are just sick to death of the reimaginings, and except for a couple exceptions, they are never as good as the originals, and there's no point to them. They saw Sebastian, Scuttle, and Flounder, and they're like, that's nightmare fuel. My kids are going to be freaked the fuck out for years after seeing that, and I don't want to pay for a therapist.
Yeah.
And then you have people who are just mad about Ariel, too. But I think they have a lot of things working against it. And it's not just because people are racist. Some people just don't understand the change on it. Some people who don't like it, like, again, aren't white.
Yeah, I just think it's funny because then they feel like they have to apologize in this article. They're like, oh, yeah, part of the reimagining includes Halle Bailey, and she's got a strong fan following and has been praised for her acting and singing abilities. We're not going to mention all the backlash, because why not? Happy, happy, joy, joy.
Mm-hmm. But if you don't like it, you're racist.
Well, that's what's going to happen. They're like, there's brand damage that Disney suffered throughout the pandemic and the pivot to Disney Plus. That's what they're already they're preemptively building a case for what is going to be the excuse when the movie flops. They can't really blame the racists because a lot of that talk, I think, has died down. So it'll be
they still will.
Oh, we put so many. Maybe we need to rethink this. It's live action fatigue. We put so many of our live action remakes on Disney Plus that maybe just people weren't into it too much.
They already have a bunch greenlit forward. Snow White.
Stop.
They have so many.
God tried to tell you to stop the Snow White movie. You didn't listen. They burnt the set down.
Peter
Dinklage was mad.
There's been all kinds of issues with Snow White. They're still pushing forward on that one.
And, the girl you got the star in it has been in a number of box office flops. So, that's...
Again, she doesn't need a prince. She doesn't need a man. That's one of the main points of the movie.
Yeah. So, again, I mean, this is what they're saying. But when we've got, we got this covered coming out and saying that this thing is probably going to land with a thud, knowing where they usually lean, that's not a good sign.
No.
And it's not a good sign.
Again, I want to make it very clear because someone will be like, oh my God, clownfish. No, I'm making it very clear.
Fuck off.
It's really early. It's really early. We don't know. It is early. It isn't coming out for a little while yet, and that can change. But it can go to the bad too. It can go better. It can also go worse. And we've seen films that you thought were going to do really great, do really shit, and then they thought Super Mario Brothers was going to do a lot less than it did, and it went way past expectations. So you can't really go by that. But I think this one has a lot of things working against it.
Yes,
and the creepy AF sidekicks are one of the big parts of it. They're like, that's just terrifying.
Yeah, this is gonna, God.
I can't wait to get a plushie of that.
Oh my God. Does that come with a side of rice?
They're gonna have over at Columbia Harbor House.
Oh my God.
Flounder.
Oh, you could have Flounder and Sebastian and Scuttle all on a platter because you could do like
chicken
and wings
crab and he's not a chicken, but they'll do chicken their place.
Some squab
and some fish, like some fish, patties or
yeah. So
fish sticks.
They'll just do Ariel's friends. What the Chinese restaurant has Happy Family. It's Happy Family. It's Ariel's family on a plate.
Oh no.
Under the sea. They'll call it Under the Sea.
Les poissons. I love les poissons. With the cleaver, I hack them in two. I pull out what's inside because we serve it up fried. Because I love little fishies. Don't you? Yum.
$17.99 at Columbia Harbor House. Yeah, you got to go to your mobile app and get it.
Right, mobile app. Don't forget to mobile order. Don't make sure you remind you repeatedly.
Don't forget to mobile order so you can have all Ariel's friends all in one place. All right, we got to wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
Bye.
Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.